This is one of the best sessions anyone could remember in many years. And so we're very thankful to an awful lot of people for making this happen. First and foremost, the restoration of some $300 million that was cut from the state university system budget during the last fiscal year. Hats off to the legislature and the governor's office for that move. Second, over $300 million additional dollars going into a variety of important initiatives, not least of which is the creation of a performance funding model that will make certain that going forward, Florida is able, by metric identification, to incentivize and reward universities for great work. Florida has been going through a fiscal crisis on the issue of facilities now for the last several years, but the legislature recognized that with the loss of our public education capital outlay dollars due to the recession and some changes in the way buyers buy, we were in a very difficult circumstance. The legislature made available to us this session out of general revenue dollars over $70 million for remodeling, renovation, and construction of new facilities, and critically important, $44 million that will be distributed to the state universities for essential critical deferred maintenance initiatives. Well, Florida has finally begun to identify key metrics, not only in our state, but looked at nationally, that help to separate universities and create an acknowledgement of those institutions which are recognized in the category of preeminence. Two of our universities fit those metrics as they're laid out in the legislation today. But the good news is other universities over time will use that as a glide path to join that preeminent status. And not only is it a status in writing, it's also a very important component in achieving additional dollars. This year, the University of Florida and Florida State will become our first two preeminent recognized institutions. But with the additional dollars that go along with that, some $15 million for each, they'll be able to take the important steps to try to launch the University of Florida into the top 10 on a national scale, Florida State University into the top 25 for the first time. And of course, as the tide of that opportunity comes into our state, all boats will rise. A very important step was taken during this session, as I alluded to, important public policy. This one, spearheaded in the House by Speaker Will Weatherford, was the creation of an online education piece that will see first a leadership role being assumed by one of our state universities. That'll be selected through the preeminent metrics that we talked about earlier. That university then will lead the way in the creation of an undergraduate and graduate curriculum, all offered online to terminal degree, and at the same time will also act as the research and development arm for online education for all of our universities. If I had to characterize the rationale behind why this was such an outstanding session, I could do it in one word: unity. It was not only the House, the Senate, the governor's office working together. It was the leadership of the Board of Governors, people like Dean Colson, our chair, Maury Hosseini, our vice chair, and all of our members, working carefully with each of our state universities, boards of trustees, presidents, faculty, staff, administration, and very importantly, our students. The students laid out, I believe, an important tagline this year going into the legislative session, and they meant it. And that was our state needed to aim higher, and that if we as a state would aim higher regarding our university system, great things could happen. I believe they were right, and I think this year's legislative initiatives prove just that.